This is the all-new Peugeot 3008 and it represents the start of a new era for the French brand in more ways than one. For starters, it's the brand's first in-house mid-size SUV, replacing the 4007 that was nothing more than a rebadged Mitsubishi Outlander. The 3008 was designed and engineered by Peugeot and is built in France rather than Japan. But it also represents the start of a new era for the brand in Australia, where it has new distributors, the same company behind Subaru's success down under. So this could be the vehicle to finally turn around Peugeot's fortunes here. The Frenchness of the 3008 is obvious as soon as you get anywhere near it, thanks to its bold exterior styling. And that continues as soon as you hop inside. I'm in the GT line model, which presents really well. Look, the styling may not be to everyone's taste, but the actual presentation and the finish is really impressive. You've got this interesting fabric material and the switchgear feels quite nice. So overall the presentation feels really high quality and almost premium. The 3008 also has what Peugeot calls the iCockpit system, which in simple terms is this small diameter steering wheel that's quite low set and this high mounted digital dashboard. The idea of the iCockpit concept is that you're actually looking over the top of the steering wheel as opposed to looking through the actual rim. In some models we've tested, it hasn't actually worked out in practice though. The top of the steering wheel is actually cut across the center of the dash, but in this I can sit quite comfortably and I can still see all the important information ahead of me. One issue I do have with the cabin though is the feeling of space. Thankfully our test car has a panoramic sunroof, but otherwise when it's closed it actually can feel a little claustrophobic at times. The steeply raked windscreen, the way the dash sort of wraps around you, it does make you feel like you're a part of the car, but it doesn't make it feel like it's the most spacious of SUVs, and particularly in the back it actually is probably a bit tight on head and knee room for this class. The GT line is powered by a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine that produces 121 kilowatts of power and 240 newton meters of torque. It's mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission that sends its power to the front wheels only. This may be an SUV, but Peugeot has opted against four-wheel drive, acknowledging that most owners will stick to the urban jungle rather than head in bush. But that's not a bad plan for Peugeot, because there are plenty of more capable off-road SUVs, so the French brand is playing to its on-road strength. Because it's been designed in-house as opposed to borrowing a Mitsubishi, it actually shares plenty of its DNA with the 308 hatchback, which I think is one of the more underrated hatchbacks on the market at the moment. It's really nice to drive, feels quite light and responsive, and that's really this feeling you get in the 3008. For a big SUV, you know, it's a medium-sized SUV, it's designed to compete in that family-friendly segment. It actually feels quite compact and agile on the road, quite responsive. The ride is, as you expect from a European car, a little bit firm. It does sort of tend to pick up the smaller bumps in the road, but you know, for a 1.6 litre petrol, it actually does a pretty good job. You know, again, it doesn't feel like a big, heavy SUV, so the little engine actually doesn't have too much trouble pulling the car along. So overall, it's actually quite a pleasant SUV to drive. The 3008 doesn't try to beat its rivals on price, with the range starting at $36,990 for the active model. The GT line we have here starts at $43,490, which puts it on par with rivals like the Volkswagen Tiguan 132 TSI, Mazda CX-5 GT, and Hyundai Tucson Highlander. For that money, you get 18-inch alloy wheels, keyless entry and ignition, dual-zone aircon, navigation, surround view parking cameras, semi-autonomous park assist, to name a few highlights. The GT line also has a sportier edge thanks to its sports bumpers, black roof and mirrors, black interior headlining, and stainless steel scuff plates. While it's early days for this new era for Peugeot, the 3008 certainly shows the brand still has plenty of potential.